Hello YouTube makeup lovers. So today I am back with a video in my makeup collection series, and today's video is going to be dedicated to my primers. And pretty much I'm going to just do one video for my eyelid primers, face primers, anything that is a primer I will put into this video. My collection of primers is not that big, so it should not be a very long video, but it is something that I absolutely love using. I do love using primers. I do use them on my eyelids. I also like to use them on my face. I just think it's a nice little touch before your foundation to make you look even more flawless. So we better get started with my primer collection. So the first primer I'm going to mention today is the Marc Jacobs Perfecting Coconut Primer. This is actually the primer that I have bought the most recently, and I absolutely love it. It is such a moisturizing primer. Love the packaging. It comes with a pump and I really like it. My skin is a little bit towards dry. It's normal to dry, and this primer comes in nice and handy, so really love it. I also do feel that it gives you a nice little natural glow. The next primer I have is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Light Infusing Primer. This one you can find at the drugstore, and this is one of the ones that I have always loved. It comes out white like this, and then when you blend it in, first of all, it blends in real nicely. It's very thin. It doesn't feel thick or anything like that, but it does leave you a glow. So it leaves you more glow than the Marc Jacobs one. The Marc Jacobs one also feels really nice on the skin. It doesn't feel thick. It does feel very nice and moisturizing, but in a good way, not too much. This one feels the same, but this one does have a lot more of a more glow. Like you can definitely see, I don't think the camera is going to do it justice, but I can definitely see how this one has a lot more highlight than the Marc Jacobs. Another one that reminds me of this one that also has a lot of highlight is the Fresh Twilight Fresh Face Glow. This is also a primer that I used to love. I love the brand Fresh, but it is more pricey. And then when I found the L'Oreal Magic Lumi, I just kind of ended up loving this one more because the Fresh Face one is a lot thicker than this one, but it does achieve that nice glow that maybe on its own it looks like a lot, but once you put the foundation over it, it just looks flawless and beautiful. And if you like that dewy look, then this is definitely one that you will definitely like. Next I have the Giorgio Armani, and this is the Fluid Master Primer. This primer feels like silk on the skin. It comes out clear in color, but when you blend it in, it kind of almost adds like a layer over your skin that is just so silky, and it just feels so nice. And when you put on the foundation, it just looks so flawless because it covers any pore that you may have, and it just makes it like if it's like silky smooth. So I really love this primer. It is pricey because it is from the brand Giorgio Armani, but this is a very good one if you want to go like with a high-end brand like Giorgio Armani. I still have a little bit left, not something that I'm going to run and repurchase just because of the price, and I just recently bought some primers that I have been loving. The two primers that I bought that I have been loving, let's just go ahead and talk about those. They are the Makeup Forever primers, and I got the Radiant Primer, which is the yellow one, and I also got the Smoothing Primer, which is the gray one, and love them both. This one, the gray one, I really love more to apply like around my nose, you know, kind of like in the T area, just to like smooth out any pores that I may have. Whereas this one, I have put it on all around my face, but basically in this area, I do prefer the gray one, especially like around the nose and things like that. So it just really makes everything so smooth, like you have like not one pore in sight. And then this one does add that nice little radiant touch. This one is yellow, and it's more like it feels more like a face cream, kind of like soft and thin, the very thin consistency. Whereas the Smoothing Primer, it kind of reminds me of the next primer that I'm going to show you, the Pore-Fessional from Benefit. That was like my holy grail primer. The Pore-Fessional is another one that I want to share with you guys. That one kind of reminds me of the Smoothing Primer, and this is the one that I've always loved, but when I went to go buy it at Sephora, I wanted to buy it during the VIB Rouge sale. They had run out of it in the full size, so I ended up just buying this one to test it out. And it's kind of like the same idea. This one comes out like a nude color, but then you feel it going on the skin that you don't even see one pore, not one fleck. It just smooths your skin out so much. So these two are pretty similar. You wouldn't need these two primers. They kind of achieve the same thing, and so far I'm loving the new one too. I love them both. I have more for the face, but I think for the eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and show you those. This is the Nars Smudgeproof Eyelid Primer. This is like the one that I absolutely love. It is my holy grail. You do not crease when you wear a primer. I highly recommend wearing a primer. The funny thing is that my skin is normal to dry, but my eyelids are very oily. Even if I don't wear any makeup, I like to apply the primer because then my face looks all flawless and there's no oil, and then all of a sudden you see like my oily lids, which I hate. So even when I don't wear makeup, I still apply the Nars primer on my eyelids, and it just keeps it nice and oil free. So this is definitely my #1 favorite eyelid primer, which I highly recommend. Another one that I use a lot is the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. I have a bunch of these just because they always come free in the palettes or in whatever. So I have a ton of these. So I will not be purchasing this at all because I have so many of them. But this is also a very, very good one. But the one that I do purchase over and over again is the Nars. I also have this primer, which is from Too Faced. This is the Shadow Insurance Glitter Bonding Eyeshadow Primer. This is great to put on glitter on your eyelids. I've also used it for pigments, and it is just, you know, it sticks. Whatever shadow or whatever glitter you apply, it sticks. I really only use it when I want to do something like that, glitter or my pigments. If I'm just doing regular eyeshadow, I will use the Nars. The face primer that I have is from Benefit. This is a Stay Flawless 15-hour primer, and I used to love this primer a lot. It's not that I don't love it anymore. Well, first of all, these primers, I've had 2 of these and they always break. Like, I can pretty much pull this thing off. It's always broken. I just kind of like stick it back on. But this is easy to apply because you just kind of rub it on, but you have to really apply your foundation really fast after you put this on. And they actually recommend that you do half of your face first, then put on the foundation, then do the other half of the face so that it fully works. And that to me is a hassle. I just want to put on my primer and patiently put on my foundation, and I don't want to be rushed because then my primer is not going to work. So that's kind of something that kind of started annoying me about this. The Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer is also a great primer. The reason I haven't bought the full size is because, again, for this one I have received a couple of samples of these that I'm still not finished with, but this is definitely something that I would go out and purchase the full size. I think this is one of the best primers out there, and it is definitely a primer that I love. And I feel like the primers that I love have a lot of those like similar qualities, that it goes on very smooth, it's very thin, it doesn't feel thick, it just looks nice on the skin, and it just makes your foundation go on flawlessly. So this is a really good one that I would definitely be purchasing when I run out of all the little samples that I have. And the last eyeshadow primer that I have is from Urban Decay, and this is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, but this is one of the ones that kind of has a shade, and the shade is Sin. I honestly wouldn't really recommend these because then you're kind of stuck with this shade, and you can pretty much only use it if you're going to use an eyeshadow like that, and you can't put it all over your eyelid. I've even had the original one, the one that doesn't have a color, and that's the one that I used to use for a really long time. But I find that the Nars one and the Lorac one are better than the Urban Decay one. So that is one that I probably wouldn't recommend anymore, the regular Urban Decay Primer Potion. So that is pretty much it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video in the makeup collection series about my primers. Let me know what other products you guys want to see in this makeup collection series. I know that I still have a few of these to go, but just in case, let me know which one you guys want to see next. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for watching B-Lounge Makeup. Bye!